Hey YouTubers, here's an RV project video. First gonna clean up these nasty rims and make them shine, clean the water lines and tank, then fix a broken water line, and share a nice Class B I saw for sale. So I hope you enjoy. Look at that shine. Alright. It's time to clean out the tanks and the water lines. Alright. Turn the water on and fill up the tank. Drain the freshwater tank. Clean it out and drain it. Dripping. I don't know if you can see it up there. It's dripping down here. That's when the tank is full. That's the overflow. You can feel it. What you see there is underbody insulation. It's not rust. So it's a totally full tank. I will drain it out. I've shown before that my RV doesn't have gravity feed. The only way to get stuff into it is through a pressurized hose. So now we're going to add vinegar, distilled vinegar, to clean the tank out. Oh yeah, and I fixed the GoPro with super glue. It's not pretty, but it's still working. I'll just be careful and move it on the base instead of putting pressure on these tabs. And then maybe when Black Thursday or Sunday or Friday or whatever comes along, Cyber Monday or whatever, I can find a new deal on a better GoPro. Gotta watch my budget. So anyways, what I do is I keep that end of the hose attached, and then I take this end of the hose and I pour that vinegar in it. Maybe it'll be in there, maybe we'll just pour it in. And lift the hose up and just keep going. Alright, I might have to film the rest of it outside of the camera, but you get the idea. Got a whole gallon of vinegar in there. Now I'll push a little bit of water in. I think that's enough. I'll drive the RV around and slosh the tank around. Then we'll do a second one and clean all the lines out. Alright. I'm gonna pass it straight through. Alright, we made a big mess. This water line came loose. So we're gonna see if we can fix it. Alright YouTubers, when I was doing all this water stuff, I had a problem. When I turned it on to city water, this line busted. And this piece goes here, but it won't stay. Sound of water flooding the inside of your RV is terrible. We're gonna have to replace it. I went to Lewis RV Center and they gave me a new one. I gotta put this on. The total cost of all this was about $6, so it was pretty cheap. But what I have to do is I have to cut this band off, and it's metal, and I have to be careful not to mess up the tubing, and hopefully everything will work. And at the end of this video, I'm going to add on, they had a Class B for sale there, and I know a lot of people that watch my channel are on the lookout for a Class B. It was a 2000 Pleasureaway, and it looked pretty decent, so I'll put that on the end. Go to 11-minute mark for the Class B. The guy recommended using a coping saw, which is going to be tough. It's a tough spot to get into. And I borrowed this from my neighbor. He said this might work a little bit better. It cuts when you pull back. Hopefully you don't pull your finger off. Sometimes you realize you're stupid when I should just disconnect this right now. As we all know, a lot of times it's not that it's hard to do, it's actually just getting to something. And this is not put in a place that's easy to get to. Alright. I end up disconnecting it here in a couple minutes. We might be close. I'll get another tool. See if I can crack it. I might not be thinking right, but I am persistent. Oh shit. This is not fun. I see many people make videos and edit out their mistakes just to look good. I do my best not to do that, but show the real world good and bad of non-professionals. Jeezly Pete. Non-professional or knucklehead, whatever you choose. So my tip, if you have to do this, just stop and think and take the hose out to work on it from the start. Whew. All right, we got more tools. Even though I made it harder on myself, I did get this fixed. You'll see. It's always just hard to get to things. I just can't get that off. I don't know how well it's doing, but I think I got it coming on. Just doesn't want to come out. Alright, that copper piece is off, that metal's off. Now we gotta get that off after I get some air. It's hot in here. Alright, I can't get this darn fitting off, so I disconnected to the top. We'll see if I can get it off. It does not want to come off. Maybe I'll try some WD-40 or something. Just does not want to let loose. So okay, I had to go back to the RV shop and get a new fitting because we had guessed it the wrong size. And while I was there, I got a new washer to go in here. This part goes up under the sink and goes straight down, and then this goes on here like such. But what I need to do now is, this has been on there for like 20 years. It was really tough to get this old fitting off. I had to put it in a vise and pull it off. But what I need to do now is, there's a little edge on it, and I'm going to take a box cutter and kind of trim it up, clean it up so that new piece will fit. I should just use that sandpaper that I still have. RVs. Stuff you have to do when you don't expect to have to do stuff. Alright, so now it fits on there. And we'll put it in place. Moving time. Alright, before I get it too tight, we're going to put this where it goes up there. I'm probably taking far too long to show something that's pretty simple actually. But basically it's right under there. And I got to put that on there. And it's a pain to film it. So I'll just show you once I got it on there. Then. So okay, that's tight up there. I'll take the supply line. This is gonna be tough, and now we just screw that on there. They make a tool to cut those bands, sorta kinda, the guy said. Alright. That's pretty tight. Stay tight. Alright, next part when you do these, they come in a pack of 3, are these little eyelet things, and they go down here on this, and apparently that keeps everything tight. At first look, this appears like it's tight and gonna stay good. Time to move on to the next part. Alright, here we go. Hopefully I got enough water in the tank. It didn't work. Hold on. Okay, I took a little bit more off, and I hopefully got that thing seated well. Hopefully that's in there the way it's supposed to be, and it won't leak again. I didn't like it. That was a lot of water. Alright, I'm gonna put this back up, move the camera. Alright, let's see. I really don't want it to leak again. Still leaking. Not quite as bad. Oh, I didn't want to mess with it. This is pretty frustrating, to be honest with you. It kept leaking on me. I think I might have it. I did a test in it. Alright, YouTubers, I got the new piece on there. This is an easy job, but it was really frustrating. I had to cut a couple different times. I cut the end of this hose off because it just kept leaking. It wasn't seating well. Alright. Wipe everything down. And another good thing is it does smell like vinegar. Alright, let's turn the pump on. Water's running. No leak in here. That's where I'm looking. See the water moving. Alright, I think we got it. Got some other projects to do. And now I'll show you that RV I was telling you about. Here's that 2000 Pleasureway with a better hood than mine. I should steal it. I don't know if it has the 5.2 or 5.9 V8. I prefer the 5.9. Better horsepower and torque. It looked clean though. Microwave. Little stand inside the cabinet. Bigger sink than my RV. Same refrigerator. A fold down seat, leather. It's been updated. Cabinet storage. There's a new TV. I did notice one odd thing. It was the bath and the shower. Same aisle shower as in my RV, but the floor looked level, like it would flood if you showered in it. Picture of the shower drain on a flat floor. Weird. The ceiling curtain rod was stored in the bathroom, but overall I still think it's a nice RV. I'm not sure if that's original or the previous owner just remodeled and didn't care about the shower. Alright, I went and asked the guy, and he said this is Lewis RV Center in Dayton, Ohio. Might be Riverside technically, I'm not sure. He said everything works. 15.9 is what they're asking. And he thought it had about 40,000 miles. He said it was one owner. I didn't make him come out and turn it on to see. That's stuff, same stuff I put on my floor. But it looks pretty clean. Now it doesn't have the storage of my leisure travel. But I know there's a lot of people out there looking for Class Bs. And if this is correct, a 2000 with 40,000 miles on it, if that's correct for 15.9, that's a pretty darn good deal. I guess you could get a cat to stay up there if they wanted to. I don't know how she'd get up there though. Joke. My cat rides like basically in where that spot would be. Same Dometic refrigerator, water heater. That's where your water goes in. I think everything's locked up on it. But as you can tell, it doesn't have the amount of storage that leisure travels have. It's got a hitch on it. Looks relatively new and not rusted, so I don't know if this pulled a lot. That always matters to me. If I see a vehicle without a tow hitch, I'm like happy with that, even if I want a tow hitch. That's where your propane goes. Looks pretty clean. Here's your waste. Outside shower, better spot than mine is. Alright. It's got a little pitting, but nothing like mine. As I said, he said 15.9. If you're looking for one, you don't mind traveling to Ohio, if you're in Ohio, I don't think that's a bad deal, 15.9. As you can see, my wide body just looks bigger. And all that storage. A little more about the water lines. Alright, so what I did that I didn't film is the end of that tubing, like I said, it had been on there for 20 years, so it was crimped and it wasn't flat. It had some ridges in it, so I cut a little bit off with a coping saw. And then it leaked the second time, and I went and cut a little bit more off, and it seems like it's now flat and flush and it's not leaking. So if you, I had to be careful because the tubing wasn't too long. I didn't want to have to buy new tubing, which, you know, wouldn't have been expensive or nothing, but I was just trying to do it with what I had. So if you have to do something like that, make sure the ends of your tubing are relatively flat so that the new fitting can seal onto it. If it's not, it leaks just like I showed you. Little dehumidifier down there trying to get any moisture out. And it's all done and it doesn't leak. And something that's funny I realized when I got done, it's like a year ago or so, I bought a new faucet and I was like, oh, I'll replace it one of these days. And I got this done and I'm like, man, I still have that faucet I was going to replace. But I just don't feel like effing with it. So maybe in the fall. Have a great and wonderful day if we're at that point in this video. I lost the running board step tread, so here's an option to consider. Make sure to get it clean. Goo Gone helps. Alright, so that front tread, I lost one of them. I have one more, and to order new ones, they're kind of expensive, so I'm going to try this non-slip on one side, and then maybe I'll see how well it works and decide whether to glue the remaining one on the other side or get another one of these. 3M Safety Walk, I think Home Depot is $6.50 or something like that. So I measured it to where I want it, move this band, I'm gonna cut it. Alright, and that's it, it's down. Cut it to fit, it's got a reflective strip. This might even be better than the ones that come on it, it'll be less slippery. Because I have tried to bite it a couple times. Alright, we'll see how this holds up. Well, that piece is obviously too short, but I might as well clean this up and I'll stick it on there. Even though I have this left. But I might as well throw it on there. Pretty simple. Right, I couldn't let it stay like that, so I went back to Home Depot and got another sheet. And I think that's gonna work pretty well. That stuff's got good adhesive to it. I don't think it's coming off. And might be time to replace that one too. Because it's looking pretty worn. And as these get old, they can still be slippery. But we'll see. I'm not gonna do it yet. Alright, now have a great and wonderful day.